Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today it's time to have a look at a new operation which is coming to War Thunder over the festive period. This is Operation Frost, and before we get started into it, first of all, I hope you've been enjoying the dev server videos. There is going to be a bunch more which are going to come, over the next few days, but understand I am actually kind of ill right now. After coming back to Canada, I seem to have picked something up, so everything's a little bit slower than usual, but don't worry, there will be plenty of content from the dev server coming. Also, another thing as well, if you want to see some of these vehicles in Operation Frost, I was actually able to get some of the footage of them in the dev server. I had a look at the J6, the Macarva, and also the wonderful 3.7. So, yeah, make sure to have a look at that. Also, if you want more information about Operation Frost, we're going to be on the Tech Hub Discord, where there's a link in the description. We're going to be setting up some rooms and stuff to make sure that, as a community, we can come together and get these vehicles together. So, let's get started on what Operation Frost is. So, every year, around the festive period, War Thunder does a festive event. Now, what this festive event normally is a way to bring people together to try and, under common goals and common challenges, in order to get some pretty unique and interesting vehicles. Operation Frost is no different. This one will be running from the 20th of December to the 13th of January. So it's around about Oh god, it's a 14 plus 10 days, so it's 24 days overall period. So yeah, just about less than a month, about 3 weeks. No, that's not right. 7, 14, 21, 28. No, it's about a month, or a month, 3.5 weeks. You can see that my brain is really just not working right now. And you can see that in this event, it's very similar to the ones that we've had before, where you can get access to some really nice vehicles, on top of some pin-up decals, and also some weapon decorations. Now, some of these vehicles, as I said, we've already had a look at, but we'll go through them, quite quickly here. The first one is the TISMA, or the TISMA, and this is a Soviet escort fighter. Now, this was, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate video looking into these vehicles specifically, and also I'm going to do a video kind of like on my thoughts and ideas for it, some tips and tricks. This video is just trying to outline what is in Operation Frost. So the TISMA is a escort fighter. They've pretty much taken a twin engine idea and tried to strap as many guns as possible on it. So it comes in two configurations. The first one is 237mm, or you can go 445mm and 220mm. It also has access to bombs as well, so this thing is just going to be insane. The fact that it has so many guns in it, to me, just shows that it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully it isn't too heavy in the nose, because that's pretty much where everything's going to be. There's also an interesting Swedish plane, which is going to be coming to the game, which also has quite a large gun in the nose that we'll talk about in a future video. The second vehicle that is available is the Ram, but it's a slightly different Ram. This is the QF 3.7-inch Ram that you can see here. It's going to be a premium rank 3 British vehicle, and it's pretty much a Ram where they've taken off the turrets, they've taken off a lot of armor, made it a lot lighter, and added a gun shield plus the 3.7-inch QF on it. So the fast firing, the quick firing, I should say, 3.7-inch. It is an AA gun, but it does have access to AP, so think similar to something like the VFW. The other thing as well is this has 7 crew. It has 2 sat in the hull here, and there's also a hole in the armor here, which is kind of interesting. So I feel like you can just machine gun straight through there. But there are 5 crew members around it. This is I suppose a Canadian-built machine. So coming to the game in the British territory is pretty cool. The Soviet machine is also ranked 2 and premium as well. The next vehicle, because now naval is involved, which is really nice to see, may I say. We've had naval for just over a year now, and it's nice to see they are, seen as equals when it comes to these events now. This is the 94-footer PT-811, and this is very similar to a machine that we already have in game. We have the PT-810, I believe, so this is just kind of a slight configuration difference on top of it. It has some dual-mounted 20s, so one here and one here. It has two 40mm. Then it has a mortar launcher, which is an 81mm, and a bunch of torpedoes as well. This to me is like the perfect ship, if I'm quite honest. I really like my American PT boats. It has a lot of character to it, and also it has, you know, the range of the 40s and the aggression of the 20s, and also the torpedoes. It just looks like a really nice, you know, machine. There's also, it had like a smoke screening effect as well, mechanic. Well, I'm not sure if it will in game, but in real life it had this interesting smoke system to it. The next vehicle is the J6K1. This is, of course, the well, fake plane. If we really want to put it, seriously, this thing has 6 30mm all sat in the wings, 3 on each side. You can see them in this configuration here, and it has 2 20s near the center, which is just mounted under on the inner wing. The problem with this aircraft, the J6K, is that it never technically existed. They could have easily just gone for the J3K, which was definitely flown, but the J6K was an upgrade of the J3K with a really powerful engine, a 2200 horsepower engine, but it just never got past the building phase. It got about half built, and it wasn't even supposed to be in this configuration of guns. It's supposed to have 2 30s and some 13.2s, but unless Gaijin have some hidden information that, you know, I've never seen before, this is a paper plane, and it's sad to see it. I understand that a lot of people are fine with paper vehicles. For me personally, I'm not a fan. The next vehicle is the Merkava Mark IIB. This is going to be a USA rank 6 event vehicle. So see the difference? All of these are labeled as premiums, so these all will have the premium bonuses, whereas the Merkava, the Mark II, will not. It will just be a straight event vehicle, so you won't get the premium bonuses from it, but it will still have, you know, the resale value that comes with being an event vehicle. The Mark IIB is an upgraded version of the one that we have in the tech tree. It basically has some extra protection on it when it comes to urban combat, so a lot of stuff here is designed to try and stop a lot of heat and all of that. It generally won't really change the playstyle of the machine compared to the Mark I. The only real difference between this functionality in game compared to the Mark I is that this should have thermals. It should have exactly the same power to weight. It has exactly the same gun, exactly the same loadout, all of this stuff. So a little bit of extra armor, and also it should have thermals. So yeah, it should be a pretty fun machine. It's very similar to the Mark I, so if you're used to that, you should be used to this, and it'll be a nice addition to the top ranks of the USA. The last machine is the Type 1924 Jaguar. This is a very standard destroyer, very similar to most of the machines that we've seen added to the German tech tree over the last year or so. And you can see it has access to some guns. These are 105mm, but they are rapid fire 105mm, and also the torpedoes in the center. So this comes alongside stuff like the Udachi and the Leningrad. If I was going to compare all of those, I'd probably say this is the weakest out of the three, but I still think it's something to go for. In fact, I'm really happy to see all of these machines. None of them seem crazy overpowered. I would have probably picked something different to the Merkava, and also the J6 not existing is annoying, but you know, we'll get into that in a separate video. The main thing to understand is these are all really nice prizes, just as prizes go, and they're not exactly hard to get. So first of all, it's doing exactly the same thing as the last year's Festive Events. So you have to gain stars in order to get these vehicles. This basically means that in order to get a star, you have to complete 3 of these tasks every 2 days in order to get the star for that style of vehicle. So if you yourself are going for the aircraft, let's say you're going for the Tisma and also the J6K, you would have to complete 3 of these tasks every 2 days in order to get the star, and eventually, once you collect enough stars, you can get yourself the J6K. Now, you need 10 stars overall for the J6K, so you can miss technically 4 days, it seems, from from the outset to be able to get it. And also understand you can double up, so you can get all of these prizes. You don't have to pick a specific one. So if you want all of these vehicles, all 6 of them, you can do so as long as you get the stars done. So yeah, it's as simple as that. And the stars, they are, I actually compared them to last time. I compared them to Operation Heat, and they're a little bit harder, but not really too much harder. Generally, it's, as you can see here, it's get 12 wins instead of get 10 wins, destroy 55 vehicles instead of around 30 vehicles, and also, stuff like help allies destroy an enemy team vehicles 30 times instead of a few less. So it's just a little bit higher on some of them, but the majority of them are the same. The naval tasks are exactly the same from Operation Heat, which is kind of funny, but everything seems in pretty good order. There's nothing that really stands out as a terrible thing to go for here, and in the tips and tricks we'll definitely go through what you should be aiming for when looking at these different challenges. Just understand that these are the easier events in War Thunder compared to the Battlefield Engineer ones. These are a lot less stressful, you don't have to play as hard, but still I would get people together and squad up and have a bit of fun and enjoy it, because that's what War Thunder is about at the end of the day. And since there are specific challenges such as the assist ones, which are for tanks and aircraft, it will definitely, now there is a reason to squad up, instead of in something like Operation Shipyard, where you were kind of actually penalized for squadding up because you wouldn't do your games as fast. So that's nice to see. There is a little bit of a community aspect to this. There's also the weapon decorations and the pin-up decals. Unfortunately, we haven't seen any of these yet. We'll have to wait and see, what these look like. So that is something to also think about. And another thing also to mention is I believe all of these machines will be coupon vehicles, so you can buy them. Yeah, here we go. All event vehicles will be given out in the form of coupons. Decorations and camouflages will be immediately activated on the account. So therefore, these won't be coupons, the decorations and camouflages, but the event vehicles will be. So all of these will be able to be sold on the Gaijin market, which is kind of nice. And I'm guessing because these decorations and camouflages are generally stuff which either goes for crazy amounts of money or, nobody wants to buy them, they're probably just activating them off the bat to, so they don't take up server space on the Gaijin market themselves. So yeah, even if you don't want these vehicles, you can grind them out, you can sell them, and you can get yourself something off the Gaijin store with the Gaijin coin that you get, because remember, the Gaijin coin can't just be used just on the market. It can also be used in the Gaijin store, so you can get yourself some premium time. Maybe there's like a certain sale that you want to get some GE or premium or certain vehicles. You can pretty much just grind these vehicles in order to sell them and pick yourself up another vehicle that you would actually want. So that's a really nice system that they've implemented over the last year, and it's nice to see it, continued for this year as well. The other things as well is you have to do the ground and air challenges from rank 3 to rank, let's find it. It's rank 3 or higher. There we go. Rank 3 or higher for the ground and the air. But for naval, it's rank 2 and higher. So you are able to do stuff like PT boats and battle boats. You don't always have to be able to, use destroyers and stuff like that. I'm pretty much going to use this event to grind out some of the trees that I haven't played as much as others. So such as the Chinese tech tree, I'll probably use that 5-3 lineup a lot just to try and smash some faces. Other things to also note is by, doing all of the tasks, it isn't really mentioned here if you can buy them, apart from right here. It says Mist Stars are available for purchase in the achievement window until the 16th of January 2020. Don't make an error when choosing between pilot, tanker, and sailor stars. So, it does say that you can buy them, but what I was alluding to is it doesn't tell you the price, and that is something that we'll have to look out for when this operation starts. And obviously it starts on the 20th of September. So you've got to watch out for that on the 19th to make sure that, if you want to buy through it, you obviously want to know how much it's going to cost. So you have three options of getting these tanks. You can either grind them out with these standard tasks. You can either buy them through the fact that you can buy the stars themselves as they come along, or you can just buy it on the market. So there's many options depending on what you personally want to do. I'm happy to see this event. The Festive event is normally one of the best of the year. The only problem is there seems to be no community aspect to this event right now. So hopefully at some point in the future over the next week, since this has actually been announced pretty early, a week in advance, it would be nice to see if there were any community events coming around Christmas or community stuff attached to this, because old Festive events used to have like collective prizes, meaning that if you did certain extra challenges on top of already existing stuff, you got yourself some goodies, and so did the whole community. It was nice to bring people together and have a bit of fun during the Christmas period. But overall, I'm happy to see this event. I'm happy that it's coming pretty soon, and also since this is coming on the 20th, my guess is the update is going to come before that. So it's going to be a hell of a busy week for you. It's going to be a hell of a busy week for me. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, Jay Wilt, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyins Terry, Elove Goat, and Seductive Trash Can for supporting the channel.